All right. So this is what I said just now about the simple summary or the basic formula to construct a simple sentence. So basically, you would have, or basically, simple sentence is equal to subject and a verb. It means that a simple sentence must have at least a subject and a verb, and at the same time, it expresses, it conveys a complete idea or thought. So, simple sentence equals to, at the same time, an independent clause, a clause which can stand on its own. All right. Now, I did say just now that a simple sentence must have at least a subject and a verb. All right, at least. So it means that it can have more subject or it can have more verbs. All right, so let's see the forms that it can be. All right, so you have S plus V, which basically means there's one subject and one verb, and then you have two subject and then one verb. For instance, James and John are walking to school. James and John are walking to school. So, in that sentence, James and John, basically, these two individuals are the subject of that sentence. So, there are two there. There are two subjects. And followed by walking. So, that's the verb. So, you have two subjects, S S, and then followed by a single verb, which is V, are walking. Right. And then you have SVV. It basically means that you have one subject, but you have two verbs. All right. A subject and two verbs, meaning to say the same subject is doing two things. There are two actions being done by the same subject. Okay. And the last one is SSVV. What this means is that you have two subjects doing two things. You have two subjects doing two things. All right, so this is still considered as a simple sentence. Okay, let's move on to the next line. All right, so here's some here's an exercise of simple sentence. So let's see what we can do together. So the question is, or the instruction is, identify the subject and predicate, or predicate in these simple sentences. So we have the first one: Cindy and Sue audition for the lead role in the play. Cindy and Sue auditioned for the lead role in the play. Alright, so we need to find the subject and we need to find the predicate. Or, to make it easier, we need to know which one is the subject and which one is the verb, because the verb is basically like the boundary or the limitation between the subject and the verb or the predicate. All right, so let's see the first one. So the rule is simple. Most of the time, the subject would be in the beginning of a sentence. Most of the time. And then, most of the time, after subject, it will be followed by a verb. I always emphasize on this rule. When there's a subject, there's a verb. And most of the time, when there's a verb, there is subject. Right? So, since Cindy and Sue are in the beginning, so this is basically the subject. Right? And whatever after the subject is basically the predicate. Or I usually focus on the verb, so the verb would be this one, audition. So this is the verb. Right, let's look at number 2. The kittens were adopted by the family. The kittens were adopted by the family. So the kittens, this is the subject, were adopted by the family. This is the predicate, but I would like to focus on the verb. Were adopted is the verb phrase, so here you are. This one, were adopted. So simple sentence, simple sentence. And number 3, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are my favorite. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are my favorite. Alright, so okay, before we move on, pardon me with the spelling. Alright, this is an American spelling. It should be favorite with a U. Alright, okay, so the third one is peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are my favorite. So peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, that's the subject. Are my favorite is the predicate, and the verb to be are is the verb. Right, number 4, the committee decorated the gym for Friday night's dance. The committee decorated the gym for Friday night's dance. So the committee, so this is subject, right? So whatever after the subject is the predicate or the predicate basically, and decorated is the verb, right? Okay, the last one, the surprise party was organized again. Pardon the spelling, this one should be S, alright? Organized with a Z or Z is basically American, so it should be S. Alright, number 5, the surprise party was organized by Wendy's 2 best friends. Right, so let's see. So we have the surprise party. So was is a verb to be. So when there's a subject, there's a verb. When there's a verb, there's a subject. So if this is the verb, so this is the subject. The surprise party subject was organized by Wendy's 2 best friends. So this one was organized is basically the verb. And was organized by Wendy's 2 best friends are the predicate. So all of these 5 sentences are what you call simple sentences.